and top of the morning. This is Diabetes Ninja. Today, myself and the group are going to outline our expectations for Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Diabetes Ninja. He's doing the things no one asked him to do. Why the hell won't he stop and shut up?
Today in studio here we have Mixmaster Lar from Lar's Gaming Channel.
Yo.
And we have Justice as well.
Oh.
Alright, and Final Fantasy VII. So, I've been watching a lot of the reaction videos, and I thought it might be a good idea to exactly bring perspective and figure out what is it that we really want. Because I'm hearing a lot of people express concerns, and so it makes me realize that there are a lot of different ways that you can be concerned. And so I thought I'd get some of other people's perspective. And so I'm curious, what do we actually want from Final Fantasy VII? Like, what would we really insist on being in there? And what would we insist on it not being in there? Like, what would be a quit incline for us on Final Fantasy VII? So what do you think, Laura?
It hasn't really changed since I've talked about this with you, and we've talked about this on my channel. What I really wanted more than all is faithfulness to the story. That these will be comparable characters, or like interesting, more nuanced take on these classic characters, and that the story would more or less progress the same, maybe with more detail or with definitely better acting, better cinematography, just a remake in a true sense.
Okay, whenever you say better voice acting, the original game didn't have voice acting, so any voice acting would be better.
That's not true.
Listen, you do have to compete with the voices in my head, unfortunately. Maybe that's not fair, but...
And we're disregarding having children, right?
Actually,
no, I'm not, because it's a large list of what I don't want.
Do you not want to have children?
I don't want that weird, angsty...
I do not want Advent Children takes on characters. And I actually said in my video that I was afraid that I was going to get the characters from Advent Children reenacting scenes from Final Fantasy VII.
Because it's the same guy.
However, we're talking about voice actors like Steve Bloom, Quentin Flynn, Crispin Freeman, Bo Billingsley.
But it's going to come down more to the writing than the actors.
Yeah, but these are actors that have played in a variety of roles, a variety of styles. If the writing is good, these actors can carry, but you don't have to worry about it because they unceremoniously dropped them all for new actors. Rachel Lee Cook was Tifa, and she got dropped. I don't think they were notified. Yeah, she's been playing Tifa for like years and years, and I don't think they were notified that they weren't going to be in the role. I think they just quietly didn't schedule them and then just announced a whole new list.
Okay. In the interest of getting both people's takes, though, so in summary, what you're saying is you want faith to the source material, and by source material, you mean the American version of the original game. Nothing that contradicts that. Is that what we're looking for?
Oh, no. The Japanese script is definitely more nuanced. There are some things that I'm just more used to, like Barrett's personality is a little different in English. He's more Mr. T.
Some people love that. I love that.
I do love that, and if they kept it, that'd be great. But you know, for the most part, the overall story beats and point of the story is the same. But I don't necessarily have to have it be true to the American localization. For one thing, most of that translation was garbage. So
okay, so what we will insist on is voice acting that is on par with your expected standards, and then like faith to the source material. What about you, Justice? What would you insist on?
From what we've seen of the gameplay, I'm pretty excited for it. I like the fact that it's still keeping that active turn-based thing, but it's providing you with more actions to do in the middle. So I don't really have a lot of requirements on that, as long as there's gameplay. I'm tired of playing RPGs that don't have any.
yeah.
Beyond that, like, yeah, I kind of agree with Laura on this. I would like them to stick at least closely to the story. I don't mind some updates, because Lord knows the writing needs some updates. If they did a one-to-one script, it'd be a bad game. No doubt about it.
Yeah, I was hoping they would just take the original Japanese script and just retranslate it from there.
I don't want that either. I mean, we have the advantage now that we have advantages now that let us do more. And I would like to see them do more. I just don't want to see them change into some angsty mess that doesn't even reflect the original.
Right.
Now, that's a change in tone what we're concerned about. Are we concerned if, in an effort to more coherently world build, they make amendments where appropriate? And do you think there's even a such thing as there being appropriate?
Oh, if they can make a change that actually adds instead of takes away, that's fine.
But you think that the likelihood of them, based on their track record, are we saying that we don't want to bet our paycheck on them being able to do that?
I am familiar with Tetsuya Nomura's previous work, especially when he was in creative control over properties. And I just don't want Final Fantasy VII, the Dirge of Cerberus retelling.
No, please.
I mean, because that's what we're about to get, guys. And I know everybody... me saying that the story was going to be like that is the most disliked video on my channel. Like, people do not want to hear me say that. But when it happens, and everybody's doing your think pieces of like, Final Fantasy VII, what went wrong? Remember, heard it here first, guys. I told you, it's like 6 months out.
Lars' ability to read the future aside, though. Okay. I just want a good engaging script, man. I want my characters to be likable. We've got that. We've got good, likable characters in the game's property already.
Yeah, they've survived for like 20, 25 years. They're very likable.
Yeah, just go a little bit more in depth to them. Bring them to life. Do what you gotta do. Just don't give me admin children. Don't give me Dirge of Cerberus. Don't give me Kingdom Hearts.
Do give me Quentin Flynn and Crispin Freeman and Steve Bloom.
All right.
I love those guys.
So I'm actually going to deviate off course because my desires for this game have less to do with any of those concerns. I feel like those are all going to be adequate. I kind of hope for really good supplemental material that didn't originally exist. I kind of hope for new material that doesn't change the tone, but like, wouldn't it be neat if the game had a little bit more on the tail, like more stuff to do in the post game?
I mean, post game in 15 was pretty cool. I wouldn't say no to it. I don't think I require it.
What more would you want in the post game? There's a
That's
lot
their
of
job. No, that's their job to come up.
No,
with.
there's a lot of shit to do. Final Fantasy VII post game.
Okay, but you want to know what? All those things are expected now, and they're expected to be within the price of admission. And actually, we're getting really ahead of ourselves because the one that's going to be releasing on this generation is actually going to be
just
Midgar only. So,
yeah.
With that in mind, like the post game would happen within the confines, and I think that it would be neat if we could get, I don't know, like I'll leave it up to them to
They
figure
promised me 80 hours of Midgard. I don't want post game at the end of 80 hours.
I'm not sure I want 80
Midgard.
hours of Midgard.
I really don't. I hope I get to speedrun it.
I mean, if they do it well, and I could change my mind on that, obviously, if they flesh out Midgard more and they let me explore more, they let me do some more stuff there, and it works.
I think that it's real challenging because you got a million people ready to get mad for a million different reasons. I'm prepared to afford it as a product that, space to do something a little bit different. And like I said, I just hope that the supplemental stuff doesn't go off brand or feel wrong, but instead adds context and depth.
That's what take out the mini games.
Well, so something that's always bothered me is, those 135th soldiers, like, whenever I was a teenager, the way that I read that is soldier, 1 out of 35.
Yeah, no, that's what I read at first, too.
Even though that's clearly wrong and it's a soldier that's 135th scale.
I don't know if I would say that's clearly wrong.
Well, it's implied because you find a couple of them, right?
Right.
So I was like, oh, look, why don't they, give us a little... Maybe they could reward us
it's
for
a game on the
finding.
PlayStation 1, so I would accept the number not going up. It's a game on the PlayStation 1. You never know what you're going to get.
All right,
People
so
really take it for granted the games work.
So Lar kind of answered this, but I'll ask the question a different way and see if he has a different answer. What would you not tolerate, Lar, from the remake? What would you quit incline, not recommend it to people, and be outraged about?
I don't know what they could do to make me completely not care unless the game came out and I heard that the story and the characters, probably mostly the characters, widely did not represent how they were in the original game. That would definitely be a turn-off. I'm okay with the new battle system. I welcome it, but like the whole point of an RPG is for the story and characters, right?
Yeah.
If you're gonna do something that's different from
But
Final
also,
Fantasy
the whole point of
VII,
the game is to engage your audience in a way the movie can't.
oh, I'm not saying it's unimportant. I'm just saying that like changing it from the original is fine. Changing the characters from the original is a lot less fine. So, I don't know. It depends. As it stands right now, I'll probably redbox it a week after it comes out and just see how I feel about it.
All right, now a game this size, I almost think that 1 week is not a long enough incubation period. I am not prepared to judge this title's quality.
Oh, I think what he
Until-
means is he's going to redbox it and see if he wants to pick it up.
Okay. Well, yeah, because in terms of like bugs and things like that.
Oh yeah, I'll figure out if the game crashes on me within a week.
Well, yeah, I think that we'll know that on day 2, won't we? We'll actually know that a little bit ahead of time because I feel like people are going to get advanced copies that they're not supposed to. I feel like we'll.
Yeah, no, there's this thing where people get advanced copies and they don't mention game-breaking bugs because, you know, they're being told they're going to be fixed on day 1. If
There's always a Renegade guy that deviates off course, though.
There is always that guy. God bless Joe Redifer of GameSack. Shoutouts to you, my man.
Sad.
The Sack Man.
So, what about you, Justice? Do you have anything else that would be a quit incline for you?
Quit incline is if they just put those minigames back in, because I've been replaying the classic recently, and I fucking hate them. They pop up all the time. There's no reason for it. They're not well made.
Which ones?
The most recent one I dealt with was the snowboard, which, beyond being a bad snowboarding game, is also extremely tonally inappropriate. Like, hey, this very important character just died in like an extremely sad scene that's probably the most emotional point of the whole game. Let's go down the mountain! Whoa!
You also have that cutscene where you figure out about Dr. Gas and all that you
Yeah.
find right before then.
Now, aren't we still talking? That's still like part 2 stuff, right? Like, we're
Yeah,
still,
that's also mostly a joke. I mean, I don't think they're going to keep that in regardless. I guess the main deal breaker for me, again, is like, if the writing is bad, if the writing does not...
Could you imagine if they licensed out the SSX Tricky engine and did it? I would love them forever.
Well, I feel like they could just build their own. I don't think they have to borrow from anybody. But you want to know what? That's still like future stuff because Midgar is still Midgar. And do we want new mini games?
Oh, I guess, considering the whole fact that it's supposed to be over 80 hours and it's just going to be the Midgar part of the game, I guess the big deal breaker for me, aside from the writing and the character writing, is that, like, you damn well better give me some stuff to do in those 80 hours, because I'm not about to be walking around Midgar for 80 hours doing
I'm
shit.
expecting it to be like a 20-hour playthrough, but 80 hours if you 100% it.
All right. Well,
Because that's how it was, because they advertised Final Fantasy 13 had 200 hours of content, but it absolutely was not 200 hours of you walking down the hallway.
Yeah. I don't know.
13
Midgar's got a
hurt
lot
me.
of places we haven't seen. A lot of like they could open it up and it could genuinely be 80 hours of good content, but it could also be
Do you think the
same content, but you have to walk to it, and the walk takes forever.
Do you think the bonus missions are going to be more Avalanche missions?
Oh, that'd be cool.
Do you think I have to deliver food?
Make like Biggs and Wedge and Jesse have like their own side quests and stuff that you can
Do you think they have to deliver food to the poor and shit? Do you
I don't think Avalanche does that.
Do you think we rob a Walmart and start distributing shit?
Dude, I hope so.
I mean, you want to expand characters to give them more depth, then that's varying character. That's shit
Yeah.
Avalanche would do. They're
Yeah.
trying to fucking help people.
so do you think that they could maybe do that in flashback form and have it be like, remember that time that Avalanche, and then play
I don't want a flashback one. Give me Jesse side quests. Give me Biggs and Wedge side quests.
Right?
Flush out Avalanche, flash out Midgar. Let me play.
They ain't gonna die till the end anyway. So
spoilers.
Oh,
Spoilers
God.
for the first disc of Final Fantasy. Not even the first disc. First half of the first disc.
not even the first half. It's the first fifth. People get out of Midgar on the original game in an average of 5 hours.
Yeah. I mean, this is a pretty old game. If you want to go in spoiler-free, why did you click this? Why did you watch a video about this?
We'd like to thank our subscribers and don't hold you to the standard that was just set.
Control the content you consume.
Okay, so for lore, it sounds like you just want it to stay on brand, and it sounds like Justice basically just wants it to be a good story and be kind of fun. Does that about sum it up?
Yeah, I guess. Don't make mistakes Andromeda made. Don't make me walk around an empty field forever and call that more hours of gameplay. It's not. It's more hours between my gameplay.
All right, so let's try this. If you had to choose between like some cool new enemies to fight and some new side quests, or if you had to choose between that or a very expanded cloud cross-dressing minigame, which one do you want?
Absolutely gotta have cross-dressing Cloud.
I'm talking about down to the shade of makeup. Like we want to like have tie-dye
Absolutely.
dresses. Like
Also, do it like Final Fantasy 15, where when I get the outfit, I can just equip it whenever. We about to rock Temple of the Ancients in a dress.
do we expect those kind of quality of life improvements, or do you think that some people are gonna think that's heresy?
I mean, it doesn't matter what anyone expects. Square has already kind of tipped their hand in that regard, and we will not be getting it. So
It's kind of sad, honestly.
also, like, because they got nailed with Tifa's character design, and they just openly said, "Look, we hired a team."
I thought Tifa's
That-
character design for the new game.
Yeah,
Oh,
I love it. I think it's very faithful. I think it's updated. It doesn't look as ridiculous as her old design
she
did in
doesn't have
3D.
giant pyramid boobs out to the next country.
But
Go to Laura Croft.
people had complaints about it because, of course, they did, and they said, "Look, we have a committee that's made to make sure that content across the world would be appropriate," and they told us to make the design like that.
The corporate mind hive mind has spoken.
Yeah, so like if that's something they had to have like an entire team in their company mandate, there's no way we're about to get a really fun cross-dressing scene. I would say that I wouldn't be super surprised if they skip it entirely. I don't.
I don't think
no.
it's really necessary for the game.
No, necessary or not, that is so 2019, man. That is. I don't know where you guys go or what you guys.
I don't know if I would be mad if I saw it, because again, I've been replaying the classic recently, and it's not. It's definitely not what I thought it was when I was going back in. Like the butt of the joke is never the whole cross-dressing thing. It's more just like
It's the butt of the joke is
the butt of the
Cloud.
joke is Cloud's attitude towards it. But
Yeah.
he's like, no, I'm a man and I'm not going to do this. And like literally every person he interacts with is like, fuck it, man, wear the dress.
Yeah, and
I'll make you a dress.
I don't want to keep plugging this, but Kotaku has a series called Let's Mosey that looked at the Japanese script, and the Japanese script is even more like Cloud's sour attitude and the fact that he's not open-minded enough to wear the dress is like what they're making fun of. Like everybody,
Cloud's the butt of the most of the jokes
everybody
in
else
that
is
game.
cool with it.
Like Cloud finding Aerith and being like, I'll protect you, and Aerith being like, I grew up in the slums and can beat a man's ass myself.
Yeah, like Earth doesn't need you. So yeah, I think people want to see that happen. I think it would be a more funnier joke now even than back then. But it's just
I won't be
blown out of proportion.
devastated if I don't see it, though, honestly.
Yeah.
All right, so in conclusion, let's try to wrap this thing up. So how about, what do you think is the percentage-wise, what do you think is the percentage chance that this thing succeeds on all the levels that you want it to succeed?
All level I want it to succeed? I don't know. I feel like that's purely speculative. The gameplay already looks good, so I guess they get a good chance.
So better than 50%? I'm going to go 80. I'm going to start us off. I'm going to say I think that there's an 80% chance that this thing doesn't violate any of my preferences and just delivers a quality product and is good enough.
I don't know if there's really a point in me putting the percentage chance on it. It either does or it doesn't.
Well, if you're asking me what's the chance that it does all of what I wanted, it's already at 0. Because it's already tipped its hand in certain directions that it's not going to be all that I wanted, which is fine.
So
They don't have to please me. So
in conclusion, my prediction for the future is that Lar will, until the moment of this game's release, entrench himself in these positions, and then he'll love the game. He will love the game despite all of his assertions.
It'll be like the Squidward Krabby Patty episode.
I love that episode. It's so good.
Yeah, so full disclosure, I don't know what any of that means.
There's an episode of SpongeBob where Squidward insists that he does not like Krabby Patties.
Well, anyway, I'm going to let him tell me more about that off episode. I want to thank everybody for having tuned in to Nobody Asked. Hope everybody has a good day. Thanks for watching. For those who enjoyed the video, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And for more of my work, check out Lars Gaming Channel. Wanted to remind everyone to support physical goods, support brick and mortar, and support your local game store. For those in the Northwest Florida area, wanted to invite everyone to check out Loot Castle, a one-stop shop for retro games in the Milton area.